Good afternoon. So I am back to share with you all something that I had a question on a few years ago actually, and what I'm showing you right here I have shared on Instagram before, so you'll see this, but the basis was what to do with all of the stuff. Okay, so you guys see I'm getting ready to share this awesome resource, tip, hack, trick, whatever you want to call it, with you. But what to do with all of the most used resources. Okay, so if you guys have been following me, you know I don't like a lot of things on the wall. I like to use just what is necessary, and that's it. I do change some things out ever so often, but for the most part I don't like it too cluttered. It just distracts. You know, I need to use just usable things on the wall, and that's it, with the exception of the bulletin board. That's fine, but the focal points I would like clear. But as you know, there are a lot of things that we use on a daily basis, and you might not think about it, but you get a question from a child and you may have to run and access a book, and sometimes that becomes quite time consuming, especially if you're not in a position to do it. I know we all school and do other things in the process, like cooking dinner or breakfast or laundry. You know, it's life. We all do it, and we're not always right with the child. So what I found helpful, and I talked to my friend about, was something that she could do. Her issue was she didn't have the wall space to utilize. Okay, so everybody goes to Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, or what have you, find all these cool posters and charts and things like that, but what do you do with them? What do you do with them? How do you decide which ones to put up? Because there's always new ones, and it always seems like we need all of them. So, and as you can tell, none of these are Dollar Tree or Dollar Store made. I really don't use them. I have a couple that are for future use, but I really don't use them. It's because they're really big, and I don't like big, you know. So I'm going to share with you what I told this friend that I did, so that I had space and I was still able to utilize useful information and have it accessible to the kids even when I'm not available to present it to them, and also without having to use a book. Alright, so pan you around here. So the most useful things that I do have on the wall are the maps, the alphabet chart, our solar system, and over to the right in the corner, the presidents. So other than that, the word wall, other than that, there's not a lot of stuff on the wall, but there are things that I need to teach the kids without having to clutter up the wall. Okay, one of them, a lot of people have done, let me see what they're called, morning boards or calendar boards. This is something I had done when my older kids were little. You could also do it on a bulletin board, but the thing is, it's on the wall and it takes up space. And if you don't want that stuff on the wall, because you want to be able to use the space effectively, This is an excellent way to do it. So all you need is a poster board. Okay, you can also use a display board, like the science display boards, if you want. This is the cheapest way. What I'm showing you here is the cheapest way to do this whole project, because there's more than this board I'm going to show you. So, and they, you know, run you about 50 cents to $1, what have you. I suggest using white, although you can use black. I would not use anything colored because you don't want it too visually distracting, because you're going to put things on it. Okay, if you use black, you could also use chalk on it. Okay, anywho, mine are all white because I prefer white and clean lines. So we have our weather chart up here, and I have all of the pieces on here so that you can just see what's on here. You don't have to put them all on here. I have them on with paper fasteners, or brads as I actually call them. And that is how they're held on to the board. So all of my pieces have been backed in cardstock. And I will share at the end of the video another hack on that, okay? So you'll see why I use cardstock versus laminating them, okay? So all of my pieces are here, and I normally only keep the two pieces that represent whatever the weather is. I have sight words. You guys know we use fry words. I actually have two lists. This is the first 100. This is the second 100, because I have my 4-year-old and the baby working on these, and the other two, the twins, are working on the second 100. So that is why I have two, and I have them all there even though they're not supposed to be there. It's just for video purposes. So there's their sight word of the week. My little owls hanging out. All of my labels, I actually changed the labels out because I have different fonts, and right now I'm just into owls. I do have a summer theme one, and I just hadn't gotten around to changing it, and I don't know, I might just keep the owls. But nice little touch to it, you know, a little pop of color, but not too distracting. And then we have our shape of the week. So I have all of my shapes here. Now my shapes are laminated on one side. So let's see, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they are laminated on one side. And you just basically put two pages together, laminate them, and then cut them apart. So you will get a little curl, but that's not that big a deal. Then down here, I created a pocket. In that pocket, I will share with you what's in that pocket in just a minute, because it's actually on the other side of the board. Okay, so moving along, we have our number of the week. And as you can tell, it is in sign language. I do teach my children sign language. That is one of our languages. I am partial hearing, so it really comes in handy, but also because I wanted to teach them. So, and here's our color of the week. Also, we have in sign language. And here's our letter of the week, also in sign language. And a lot of times we are working and the kids will ask me how to spell a word. Like the other night, my son asked me how to spell cow. I signed it to him. And that just kind of, you know, reinforces what they know. It keeps it fresh in their memories, you know, learning to sign the letters and things like that. And it works. It works. So that's what I do. You don't have to use sign language. We also study Spanish. So on the wall, I will show you in a minute. Well, you saw the calendar. It was in Spanish. Down here we have our book of the week. All of my principles came from one place, and the book of the week is also one of them. But actually what I did with the book of the week, it's actually an entire sheet. And I do use the entire sheet, but for the board, I split it. So here's the rest of the sheet. And so I just split it up, and this gives us 9 weeks because we're just doing a book a week on this book log. So that's pretty much the highlight book, and we'll do most of the activities and things on that book. And I pretty much just leave it up there and not switch that out every week. So, let's see something else. Oh, I'm looking at it. Excuse me. When I put the holes, and I just used a, because the holes are in odd places, they're not all in a corner. The best way to do it is take a thumbtack and just poke your hole. I used reinforcements once I poked that hole, and then I put the brads and things in there. Now in my pocket I have my extra letters and my extra colors, the numbers. Like I said, I just have them all here for demonstration purposes, but I'm going to take them off and put them in my little pocket here that I created out of cardstock. The rest of the alphabet are already in there because it is too heavy. If you have all of these things on here, the board will be too heavy, so do not put all of these things in here. My words are just paper. There's no cardstock on the back of them. There's no need for it. And I do have all of the words. There's 1,000, so I have all of them. Let's see what else. All right, moving on. So what to do with the charts? I find that things that I have to teach and access often work best in a convenient spot, and it's not always the wall. It doesn't always work on the wall. So what I created was reference charts. Now I've seen a lot of people do laminating and just laminate them and hang them on binder rings. That works as well, but guess what? That's more expensive. What I did was take the same poster board, split it in thirds, fold it in thirds, and then cut it in half lengthwise. So it made 2. Okay, so this one is pretty much what they use in the morning. We'll go over the sounds of phonics and things like that. In their folders, here's the English calendar. I teach from the Spanish calendar on the wall. In their binders, matter of fact, I have one handy because she needs to finish erasing, or he. They have the English calendar version, so they will copy from this one, and that's how they get theirs done. But I start with the Spanish one on the wall. We always start on the wall, and I teach it from there. So over here I also have, we do the ABCs Bible verses, and here's B, and then also we teach a character building lesson, and the lesson is friendship. And down here are the rest of my character cards. There's honesty, and here I have just an extra take this off, an extra little piece of I I laminated something and it was only half the sheet, or you know, that much of the sheet. I use these all the time. I never waste them because they turn into little mini whiteboards. And what I do is we will talk about this word and they will give me some more words and tell me what they think this this card means. Friendship, what does it mean? And I will write it down here. So that's what that's for. It's a little mini whiteboard. And I also have a full-size one that I keep. And you can do the same thing. You can take a blank piece of paper and just laminate it, and you know, it'll do the same thing. And these things, because I change them so often, I just clip them. Okay. So the next board is... Oh, I see. Very nice. Let me see. Did I go through all of these? Yeah. Okay. No. Vowels. This is important. Digraphs and blends. Sounds. And so these are things that we have to access all the time, and instead of going through and reteaching and saying remember this and remember that, they're all here. And we can take them off and the kids can use them as they please. They don't all have to stand on the table. Okay, that's the point of just having a basic reference sheet in one place. Okay, next one we have, basically it's math. So all of our coin and dollar references are here. Just no cardstock, just the paper. So if they need to, you know, see it, it's here. I don't have to go digging out the money. Same thing with the clock. We have the little Judy clocks, but this works just as well. We do use the little Judy clocks. I will give them, and I will make a time and let them show me on the Judy clocks, you know, what the time is. They will copy it. And that is a purpose for the clock being here. The clock is laminated because I did want it to last a little bit longer. But other than that, that's it. And then over here, I have a, I'm just going to pull it down because you see it standing up. And it's braided, and I just clipped it just to keep it up because I have the fan on behind me. I have a numbers chart. I have skip counting by 2s, skip counting by 5s, and then skip counting by 10s. So like I said, useful information they have to reference on a regular basis. I have an addition table, but usually I have this one. Uh-oh, come here. What happened? Oh, what happened? Okay. Ask him not to. Real life moments, guys. I don't give them this one because I like them to do it mentally, and they are doing a great job mentally. What I usually do is give them the blank one. Okay, and I taught them how to go row by row and figure out the answers. Okay, but I do have the one with the answers. And the same thing with subtraction. I usually let them do it mentally. And I have multiplication. And it's the exact same thing, even though we're not on multiplication yet. Let's see what else. Once we move beyond multiplication and needing numbers chart, I will, you know, change these things out. And that's the beauty of it. It's just a nice, handy way. As you see, it folds down. Just to store. They store in a file. They store on the bookcase between books. They store in a drawer. But all of my references are there. I don't have to run around looking through different books and online and all that type of thing. Everything is right here. So they store really easily. See if I go through this one already. No. Okay, over here I have a reading one, and what I have on here is our reading strategies. And again, I'm going to put this down so that you guys can actually see it. I'll start with kindergarten. we use different strategies. Here's our trying lion here. Our sketchy snake. And our eagle eyes. Flippy dolphin. Chunky monkey. And Skippy frog. And really I use it pre-reading as well, just to get them familiar with it. And they pretty much can go through the process and work their way through reading. Upper reading strategies. They are going to preview the book. They're going to visualize, picture what they read. They're going to ask questions. They are going to predict what will happen. They are going to infer, make the connections to their life and the world. They are going to summarize, and then they will respond. So this gives them a roadmap as to how to go through reading and all the way up to book reports or book responses and things like that, whether it be on paper or an oral report. They know to take those steps. And then also we have things that there we go. Problem causes for the trouble. The problem. It causes trouble for the character. So these are again references when they ask, okay, what is a problem? If they are reading this in a book or in their directions, they know the information is right here if I'm not here, if they forget. Solution, the plot, and these are basic elements of story reading. The characters.
Look at this! That's our old charger!
The setting where the story takes place, the title, and the illustrator, the poet, the author. So that's there. Again, these are things that do stay on here. I don't have to prop it up to use them. I can just take them off and we can go through them. But I wanted them all in one place, so that is why they're here. And I just kind of put a little piece of tape across just so I can know which ones are which, even though I'm closing it the wrong way. But and then the last one is kind of a hodgepodge of other. Right now we have our 6 pillars of character that we use. So again, a reminder, things that I need to access, but I don't have the space on the wall to put them there. Citizenship, caring, fairness, responsibility, respect, trustworthiness. And then also on my math coming up, well, we actually have already delved into it with the measurement and things like that, comes our quantities. And I used to use this giant what is that thing called, gallon man. Yeah, but again, we just don't have the room for it. Here are all of our useful reference sheets. And here's our gallon man, gallon guy, gallon girl. As you can see, they are in black and white. I did not want to distract them too much. So I left these in black and white. We do have our fractions. Once we have already started per their math book talking about fractions, just the simple, you know, whole down to sixth. So I am already prepared that I can take the time and money off of the board and I can put these on here. But we are doing time and money, and if you all did not see my Build a Skill instant book video, that time and money book is what I'm working off of to apply the time and money skills, and it works very well for them to just build their own books. So alright, so again, look at no binders, no laminating. It's a personal choice, but again, it's not necessary to do it. And look how thin. This is smaller than a binder. Okay, and it's all there, and I can just build and pull out, and if I want to, you know, stick them up on the wall for, you know, a few minutes, I can stick them up on the wall, but they're there. I don't have to search for them. Nice and compact, and I can just put them away and not worry about it. And same thing with our calendar board. It folds up nice and neat, and I can put it away when I don't need it after we finish in the morning. We don't need it anymore. We've gone through our concepts, and it really, you know, just helps to keep the room nice and organized, so to say. So if you all have any tips, let me know, and keep watching. I will continue with the little hacks. It's a few more minutes. I know I've held you guys here long enough, but it's worth it, I promise. Good afternoon. Alright, so I am back to share a hack with you all, a little tip that I use. You see my laminator here. I have the Purple Cow hot coal laminator. I only laminate things that I want the surface to be writable, and maybe a few other things, but I'm not heavy into laminating the whole room simply because it's not very cost effective, and it's not necessary for the things that I use. I don't need to laminate everything. And so one of our Montessori morning board cards. So a lot of things I use will be paper to cardstock. I use a glue stick, glue everything down, cut out what I need to cut out, and then I will faux lam it. And this basically adheres the glue even better to the cardstock. When you use cardstock, especially the thicker cardstock, it will you tend to use a little more glue than just paper to glue. Let's see, did that make sense? Paper to paper. You tend to use a little bit more, which can also be expensive. But if you faux lam it, basically you're just melting the glue. You can do the same thing with the hot iron. Okay, if you don't have a laminator, that's another tip. You can do it with the hot iron. Just turn it on this side and iron it. And so, you know, it makes sure the edges, all of the seams are sealed, and you won't have that buckling and bowing in your material. And I am just going to show you. I have something over here. I'm just going to run it this way. But you can also do the same thing with entire sheets, not just cards. So, like I said, it just depends on the type of thing I am using, that determines if I'm actually going to use laminating sheets. These are the types of things that I want laminated, so I will use laminating sheets. Other than that, things are just faux lambs. So if you found this helpful, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you have any hacks and tips like this. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page. It is public. And my Instagram. And I will see you guys later. Bye.